Yo, yo, what up? This is Marvin Gibson, aka Big Gip, and you are now tuned in to the Retro Philosophy Show.
Say, man, you know what it is, man. Special guest in the building. Much love and respect to my man Retro stopping through, y'all. Y'all know what to do.
Big Cell. You still keeping it 100.
That's Retro.
Yes, sir.
My man.
We got you, boss man.
Love you, bro.
Yes, sir.
Retro, what's up, man? It's your guy Lavish coming in from the Motor City, Detroit, man. Keep doing your thing, man. Keep up the good work. I'm watching the channel. I'm watching it grow. Everybody out there, man, if you listening, man, show this brother some love. Go ahead and share this video. Go ahead and like, follow, and subscribe to his channel.
You already know what it is. It's your homegirl, Lottie Dottie. I'm in the building hanging out with Retro, and he ain't never lying.
I done said all I got to say.
No, I know.
A lot of people like to hold back, but I don't hold back nothing. I tell you just like it is.
I don't mean to brag, but my videos are enjoyed by well over 4 people worldwide.
Yes, indeed. What's up, everybody, including Lottie Dottie? You already know what it is. It's your boy Retro with you on today. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and I'm just gonna be glad in it, man. God's been better to me than I've been to myself, and so therefore we're grateful, we're glad, we're appreciative, we're thankful. I'm telling you, man, where would we be without the Lord? If it had not been for the Lord who was on our side, where would we be? Check it out, man. We want to talk about mastering your moves and all that good stuff on tonight. We're gonna jump in that. We're gonna jump into that here in a little bit. I do want you to know. Let's see if we can get it on the screen here real quickly here. Man, I feel like I ain't been in the studio in a minute. We've been on the bike more than anything and doing a lot of lives right from the motorcycle. But nevertheless, we are here in the studio on tonight. So let's get it cracking. Number is scrolling at the bottom of your screen, so feel free to hit us up at that number 980-222-44. Well, let me see, is that right? 2224. Yeah, there we go. 4492. How are you guys doing on tonight, man? Check it out, man. We'll just jump right into it, man. You know, if you come in later, you just gotta have to hit the replay and catch up or whatever. Ain't no need to wait, right? Now, I dropped out of school many years ago. You want to know why I dropped out? I dropped out of school because of recess. I don't play games. Look here, I don't play nobody's games, and so I might change the game. I hope this doesn't come out the wrong way. I hope you guys don't take me the wrong way. But true story, every one of us, we're supposed to change the game. Change the game without playing the game. I'm just saying. Are you feeling me on tonight? I don't know. What's going on, C1s, man? How you doing on tonight, brother? Hope all is well with you and yours. Mastering your moves. I don't think we can master our moves if we don't know who we are. I don't think we can master our moves if we don't understand where we're going. I don't think we can master our moves if we don't understand where we're coming from. There's so much that has to go into mastering one's moves. And for some, it takes years. It takes a long time for some people to really come to the understanding of who they really are. Most of the time, people are trying to be someone who they think people will receive, accept, et cetera, et cetera. And, miss me with that tone of voice. But, I think everybody in some shape, form, or fashion are looking to fit in. And I know you got some folks that I don't need to fit in. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. All right. I'm gonna say it like this. I think for most people, it takes time to get to a place where you know who you are, you're comfortable with who you are, and then and only then can you begin to master your moves. I think a lot of times people are trying to do things, like I said, to fit in, to be accepted, to be applauded, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, here's what happens a lot of times. You find out what causes people to applaud you, and then you become slave to the very thing. This ain't gonna go over too well tonight, so we're gonna hit it and we're gonna quit it. And I apologize in advance, because let me see if I can do this. Because my page, for whatever reason, is not allowing me to see comments. Let me see if I can pull it up here on the interweb real quick. Bada boom, bada bang. You know what? That might not work out for me too well. Let's see if we got any charge on the old iPad thingamajiggy here, and cancel that. Bada boom, bada bang. Right there. Do this right here. Let's see here. See, there we go. I'm already seeing some comments here. I don't know why it's doing this. Ladies and gentlemen, please forgive me. One of the biggest things I've had to learn is to stay out my feelings. Oh, come on now. Ain't no money or growth over there. That's coming from Shakila Bussy. What's going on, Shakila? How you doing? Says thank you for pressing play. And yeah. I'm raising my hand too, because it is so easy for us to get in our feelings. It is very easy. Let me see if I can see if this is going to help me out any better. Bada boom, bada bang. Shaquise, what's going on, Home Slice? I see you watching. I see you. So again, my apologies for the comments. Let me see. It had done that to me once before, and I had to, let me see if maybe, let's see here. Bada boom. Bada boom. Y'all just bear with me one moment. Let me see if I can straighten this thing out real quick here, if this is going to help. See it here. Oh, see? Okay. All right. Bada boom, bada bang. Okay. Now let's see if that changes anything. So if you're watching on my page, there we go. Okay. All right. There we go. All right. We cooking with a little bit of gasoline now. My mama, who is downstairs, told me many years ago, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Yeah. Bada boom, bada bang. Y'all make some noise for my beautiful mama. Hold on, let me get over here so I can get this one. There we go. Make some noise for my mama. I don't know if she's watching or not, but shout out to my mom. Okay, so let's talk about this a little bit, Shakila. It is so easy for us to get in our feelings. I think one of the reasons why it's so easy for us to get into our feelings is because most of the time we expect us from them. In other words, I would have done X, Y, Z. Therefore, some part of me is expecting you to do X, Y, Z as well. And then when you don't do X, Y, Z, my feelings get kind of hurt. And it's not even so much, y'all may not agree, but it's not even so much that you didn't do X, Y, Z like I would have done X, Y, Z. But for me, it's the fact that I gave you that, and I misjudged you or I misread you or whatever. And okay, let me leave it alone. So we have to, for me, I had to learn not to take it personal. To know me is to love me. So if you don't do me right, then you don't know me. And so if you don't know me, it can't be personal. So you did me dirty, you did me wrong, but I'm not going to take it personal, because if you did me wrong, it's because you don't know me. So how can it be personal? Oh my goodness. I heard somebody say that, matter of fact, let me see, bada boom, bada bang. Let me see where it's at. I want to play it real quick because I play it often. Where is he at? We're gonna get back into it and talk about it, folks. But this goes in with what we're talking about right now. Maybe not. Maybe not. Again, the telephone number is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. We'd love to hear your input on topic on tonight, mastering your moves. The Bible says it this way: when I was a child, I thought as a child, I spake as a child, I understood as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. Now, I can't find the drop that I was looking for. Oh, here it goes right here. Okay, guys, watch this and then we'll get back into the conversation.
When a person doesn't like you, they team up with another person that doesn't like you. And before you know it, there's a whole slew of people that hate you. But here's the thing. Those people, they don't even like each other. They're only gathered because of you. See how powerful you are?
So, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, we've got to stop. And we got to think about this for a moment. You got to realize how powerful you are for people to come together to come against you. As he said, they don't even like each other, but they're going to come together to try to tear your name down, to try to tear your reputation down, to try to stop your movement, so on and so forth. And have you ever stopped to ask the question, or stop to, to see how powerful you are? Evil communication corrupts good manners. So true, sis. It really does. It really does. And oh, goodness gracious. I'll keep it moving. So mastering your moves. You cannot master your moves concerned about others. Yeah, because see, here's the thing. God told Abram, his name was Abram at the time. It was then later changed to Abraham. But anyway, he tells him, I want you to leave from your country and from your kindred to a place that I will show you. And sometimes we are trying to make moves for others, and it's not going to work like that. It's not going to, because they didn't get the message. They don't understand. They didn't see the vision. They don't have the, they weren't there. And so God speaks to Abraham, and of course we know that Abram, he took his nephew Lot along with him, which later created a problem. So I want to pause there for a moment, and I want to challenge us, self included, to stop and take inventory and see if any of the issues that are happening are because we brung something or someone that wasn't supposed to go along. He told Abraham and his family, his wife, his immediate family, but he brung someone else along. How many times have we brung somebody else along on the journey that God sent us on? And I get it. Abram loved Lot. He loved him. He did. And I think one of the reasons Abraham loved Lot the way he did, because in a sense, Lot was the son that Abraham never had. And with Lot in the picture, I think it took his mind off of the fact that he didn't have what he really wanted. Oh, man. And sometimes we try to make provision. I'll just leave it at that. Sometimes we try to make provision that God is not providing, and we substitute. And you cannot substitute anything for God's presence. You can't substitute anything for God's glory. It just doesn't work. It just does not work. And so we have to be very careful with that, ladies and gentlemen, in my humble opinion. So if I'm going to master my moves, okay, and I ain't talking about my dance moves, because I never was a great dancer, but if I'm going to master my moves, then I have to make sure that as best I can, I have removed all artificial things. How many things you got in your life that's artificial? I got a shirt. I normally wear it when I travel. It's my travel shirt, at least for the first day, right? And it's got a big crown on it, real glittery. It's gold. And it says, I enjoy riding my motorcycle, but the joy of the Lord is my strength. And the moment I bump my big head, the moment you bump your huge head and think that your motorcycle is your joy, you got yourself a problem. That's artificial joy. You might enjoy riding it, but the joy of we got things out of alignment. We got things out of perspective, and we are putting things in front of God. I'm just saying. I ain't mean to have church this tonight, but don't push me now, because it is what it is. Bringing people. Ooh, come on now, evangelist. Don't push me tonight. Now she says, bringing people past their season can literally block your blessings. And it is my belief that until you get that person or thing gone, God will delay your blessing until you do. God will sit there and look at you. Because see, he's not worried about time. He's not governed by time. Time was invented to govern man. So you are absolutely right. The Lord will sit there and look at you. Give me a drum roll. Yeah, and he gonna sit there and he gonna.
I done said all I got to say. No, I know. A lot of people like to hold back, but I don't hold back nothing.
He done already spoke.
Just like it is.
And here we are. We wait for God to speak again when he's already spoken. And we done brung folk. We done brung Ray, Pookie, and Shaquetta, and Jill, and Becky, and Karen. We done brung all these folk along. And truth be told, some of them are leeches. Yeah, some of them are clapping, but they're not applauding you. They eating while they can eat. And when things get slim and when things get, then they gonna say, she done fell off. I told you, I knew it. I just, yeah. Oh man, people, some would say they're fickle, but some would say something else. We'll just leave it at that. You say what you say and we'll just keep it moving. But that's how, and it ain't about, I was gonna say that's how ninjas are. That's how people are. That's how people are. I used to think that church folk were a certain way and motorcycle folk were a certain way and business folk were a certain way and black folk was a certain way and white folks is a certain. People is people, period, across the board. I mean, come on now. Good and bad has no bearings, or I should say color, race has no bearings on good or bad. Look here. Some folks is just grimy. It ain't got nothing to do with their color. It's got more to do with their heart than anything. Come on now. Friend in the flesh and your enemy in the spirit. Let me see if I got this right.
Remember me to tell you about bad mind friend.
Yeah.
From you turn your back them on your life.
Bad mind friend, they your friend in the flesh. But in the spirit, they're your enemy. We used to call them friend enemies, and we have got to be very careful because those people are in our midst and they might be in your circle. I'm just saying, I don't know who I'm talking to, but I hope you're listening. Now, let me give you the example that I usually give. Okay. Because I can hear you looking at me with that tone of voice, Now, I am a Christian. I use that term loosely. I'm a child of God, and I unapologetically. I didn't say I was perfect. But anyway, we like to celebrate Jesus. Come on, somebody. And so he was the only one that walked this earth that we know was perfect. Can I get a witness in the building? All right, I'm gonna wait for you because I need to know if we're on the same page. There ain't no need for us to go any further. Okay, all right. So he was perfect. And about the age of 30 years old, he starts a church called the First Apostolic Church, right? Peter was the first member, and he grows to a whopping 12. And guess what? He being perfect still had the devil in the midst. Can you imagine Jesus, the Son of God? But even he had a Judas in his midst. So how much you and I, when we ain't perfect, perfect, however you want to say it. So what I'm saying is there are so many opportunities.
Remember me to tell you about bad mind friend.
For bad mind friends to be in your
From you turn
midst.
your back them on your life, yeah.
My mama, I need to tell my mama to come upstairs so she can be my co-host for tonight. Because my mama used to say, I trust them as far as I can throw them. That's what my mother used to say. And it is true. It is true. Now, I hope I don't come off as sounding too negative tonight. We just gonna talk the truth. Because old folks, you say, tell the truth and shame the devil. You know what I mean? And so when folks behave in this manner, here's what we need to do. We need to remember that if it happened to Jesus, it's going to happen to us. And don't feel bad because you thought that they were solid and it turns out they was weak as water. They were soft as wet tissue paper, Hey, look, you win some, you lose some. But what you got to do is you got to stay focused. Don't take it personal because, again, if they turn their back on you, if they did you wrong, they don't know you because to know you is to love you, right? All right. So therefore, they did what they did. It's proof that they don't know you. And so if they don't know you, it can't be personal. I've learned that people can do things that is meant to be offensive, but it's my choice to be offended. And to be offended is, first of all, to be offended, you got to take offense. Yeah. Because again, you can do it intentionally to hurt me. We often talk about the scripture, no weapon formed against me shall be able to prosper, right? And that is true. But we fail to understand what's written in the, in that text and, between the lines of that text. What's written in between the lines of that text is that the weapon will be formed. It tells you right there. They're going to form. Now, they won't prosper. And I think that that's the part that we focus on. And then when the weapons that are formed are effective, we get it twisted because we say, wait a minute now, God, you said that no weapon formed against me will prosper. Yeah, that's what he said. But they will be formed and they very well may be effective. But you got to keep on moving. You got to, I had an emergency visit I had to make today. For a dear friend who just going through and at the brink of breaking. And I said, oh no, I stopped everything, fired up Ruby Red and boom, made a beeline. We got to go make this visit. Come on, somebody, because we have to be reminded, number one, that we are human. Number two, that it will hurt. Number three, it might knock us off our axis. Come on, somebody, the thing by which we spend. And all of that stuff. But we can't stay there. I don't have all the answers. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I don't know how it's going to work out. I don't know any of that. But what I do know is you can't stay here too long. Now I'll sit here with you and we can both cry. We can both, whatever we got to do. But when we done, we got to get some movement. We got to have a plan. We got something. I'm just saying, we're talking about mastering your moves, and we cannot master our moves, ladies and gentlemen, by continuing to illuminate the hurt. Hey, what's going on, DJ FX? How you doing, sir? Let's make some noise for Jeff Austin in the building on tonight, joining the Retro Philosophy Show on tonight as we talk about mastering our moves, okay? Because, me and my deacon, we have I don't know if it's an inside joke, but it's, we often, how you doing? Well, I won't complain. And, ain't nobody gonna listen anyway. And, what is complaining gonna do? Now we can talk about it, but we're not gonna sit here and complain about it, because complaining is not mastering our moves. Now, you see, it's all in your spirit. It's all in your attitude. It's all in the way you think. Okay. As a man thinketh, so is he. So you can sit here and complain about it, or we can choose to talk about it. Now, here's the deal about talking about it. And this is the part that a lot of people can't stomach. They can't deal. Okay. Now we're going to talk about it. Okay. The biscuits fell in the grease water, and the stove no longer works, and the cat ran away, and the dog is sick, and we can talk about all of that stuff. But what about the part when I've got to tell you the truth, or they've got to tell you the truth, or they've got to point out your fault and your flaws and your role that you played in this thing? See, that's the part that a lot of us don't want to hear. Therefore, never mastering our moves. Okay. Complaining does nothing but hold you in the wilderness for 40 years. That part right there. And you'll be lucky if you're just held for 40 years, because everyone that went into the wilderness who was 20 years old and older, with the exception of Caleb and Aaron, didn't make it out. They died in the wilderness because they refused to trust God. Who am I talking to tonight who refuses to trust God? You take more comfort in complaining than you do trusting God in the very same situation. How many times are you going to point out the same old fault and flaw in your life at this particular time? I don't want to sound, harsh or inconsiderate. I'm going to listen to you complain maybe the first 2 times. After that, bro, what we going to do now? In a perfect world, what would you like to be done? And then we got to move toward it. Now, I'm saying this is my method. Okay. And if you can use it, and if it'll apply, then by all means, go for it. You know what I mean? Kodak, the ground pounders in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some noise for this motorcycle riding somebody. Yes, sir. What's going on, Kodak? I saw you in Cocoa knocking out the South Carolina Four Corners. Bada boom, bada bang. I got some patches. Where we at here? Bada boom. They must be over there in my bucket. But we got some patches for you. So now all we got to do is set a date. Shout out to Cinnamon and Buster. We got some patches to get delivered to them as well. Man, I just want to say thank you to everybody who is coming along and supporting the Mission 448 movement. We'll talk a little bit more about that here in a little bit. But mastering our moves, even as it relates to that, ladies and gentlemen. Something that you're doing and you feel a passion about it. You feel a drive. You feel a pull. You feel a passion. Do it. But guess what? Everybody ain't gonna support it. Can we just be real? And if you want to master your moves, then your moves can't be based on who supports or who doesn't, I should say. Now, those who support, bada boom, bada bang. Thank you, Jesus. And just keep it moving, because everybody ain't supposed to. I've learned the hard way years ago. I had a situation and I'm like, oh man, that'd be great if we can do this and blah, blah, blah. And I was rooting for these people. And man, when they came on board, oh my goodness, you talk about a headache. Oh my goodness, this was years ago. So don't nobody start trying to jump to conclusions, because most of y'all don't even know what I'm referring to. But I thought that would surely be a good idea. I just knew for sure. But see, again, not everyone who's clapping is applauding you. Not everyone who's clapping is celebrating you. Some are clapping just trying to distract you. Some are clapping because they're clapping. Some are clapping because they don't want to look like they're not clapping. I'm just saying. Anyway, mastering your moves, man. Are you doing it for the right reason? Are you doing it for the right reason? Or we go back to what I said in my opening statement, some of my opening statements. Or are we doing it to please people? Are we doing it so that people will accept us, so people will, speak well of us, so on and so forth? And if that's the reason for you doing what you're doing, then then you need to just sit down somewhere. Yeah, you need to sit down somewhere, because no, that's no bueno, amigo, no bueno, amigo. So mastering our moves, you've got to understand that this is not a game. Whatever it is that you're doing, you got to understand that this is not a game. I'm so grateful to be able to dance to a different beat of a drum. Is that how you guys say it? All my life, I've been different. Now, I struggled with that in the beginning. I ain't gonna lie to you. I struggled in the beginning because I was always different. I don't see things the way everybody see things. I'm so open-minded when it comes to certain things. And, I've been different my whole life, but I got to a place, and it wasn't easy. I'll be honest with you. It wasn't easy as a young teenager and things of that nature, growing up where I grew up and dealing with some of the things that I had to deal with and maneuvering through some of the things that I had to maneuver. It was tough. It was tough, man. But I'm so glad that the Lord has made me who I am. And some of the toughest things that I had to work through in life help make me who I am too. So there's not a lot of things in my life that I regret. There's a handful. I'm not gonna lie. There's a handful of things that I do regret, and I would change if I could. But it's not. And I've made a lot of mistakes in life. But from every mistake that I made, I've learned from it. And if you learn from your mistakes, then they can no longer be used against you as a mistake. It's a learning experience, okay? And it makes us better if you don't let it make you bitter. Ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, it's your boy Retro with you on tonight. Are you trying to master your moves? Or are you going along with the status quo? Are you just trying to fit in with the cool kids club? Or are you trying to master your moves? Note I said your moves. And there are some things that you do, some things that I do that no one else will understand, but it's not for them to understand. For me, when I lay down next to that beautiful woman downstairs and go to sleep and I got a clear conscience, that's all that matters. And I man, when I go with it, I'll be out. I'll be gone, y'all, because I don't have to fight through a guilty conscience. I don't have to, try to push off a whole bunch of lies that I done told and this, that. No, sir. No, ma'am. I lay down and I go to sleep. I sleep good. I do. I sleep good. Conscience be free as a bird, but some folks, they go to bed at night in turmoil because they don't even know who they are anymore. They have forgotten who the real them is. They had their. We are in October, y'all. Some of y'all dressing up for Halloween. Some of y'all ain't never took your Halloween costume off. I'm just saying, you might not like me, but it's true anyway. Where we at, bro?
I done said all I got to say. A lot of people like to hold back. I don't hold back nothing.
Some
I tell you
folks
just like it is.
have yet to take off their Halloween costume. They're better at their fictitious facade than they are the real them. Yeah. And I don't know, maybe it's because, some things are when a fad comes in, and most people jump on the bandwagon. I've rode a lot of things in life, but a bandwagon I ain't never rode. I don't even know what that thing, I know what it looked like because I've seen it, but I've never seen the inside of a bandwagon. No, sir, no, ma'am. That's one thing you look here. I don't think I've rode a unicycle. No, I don't think I rode a unicycle. So we'll add that too, because I never rode one of them. But a bandwagon, no sir, no ma'am. I'll be the oddball before I get on that bandwagon. I don't care if it got 20 folds on it. I don't care if it got some Legend suspension on it. I don't care what it got. I don't care how good the paint job is, how plush it is. You can expect to miss me on that one, brothers and sisters. It just won't happen. So I'm too busy trying to be a better me today than I was yesterday, and tomorrow than I was today. And it's not always easy, because you have to navigate through so much treachery. You have to navigate through betrayal. You have to navigate through hate, animosity. There's so much stuff that you've got to navigate through. And let me say this in my closing. I'm getting ready to close, y'all. This is my first close, okay? I'm getting ready to close. This ain't for everybody, okay? But it's for somebody. Don't let what they do to you get in you. Should I say it one more time? Don't let what they did to you get in you. Because if it gets, a boat is made to navigate the waters. I don't care how rough the waters are. As long as that water don't get in, that boat's gonna stay afloat, because that's what it's made to do. But the moment you let what they do get in you, that's when you begin to sink. I know it was offensive. It was meant to be offensive, but don't be offended. See, that's your choice. Don't let it happen. Don't let it happen. For me, it was hard, and it still is, in a sense, not to defend myself. I'm not necessarily talking about, putting up the dukes and everything, because I'm gonna defend myself. I don't care how saved I is. Look here now, I'm gonna defend me. You can bank on that. That's one thing I was gonna do. I ain't say I was badder than nobody, but one thing, my mama didn't raise no fool. My daddy sure enough didn't raise no punk. I'm gonna defend myself. If I got to, my mama told me kick him in the nuts. She told me do whatever you got to do to get him on the ground and don't let him up. That's what my mama told me when I was young. Because I was a little skinny kid growing up. So I had to. But I'm gonna defend myself now. Okay, now you don't think you just gonna jump on me and it's just all right now. But verbally speaking, and in terms of telling my story, I still struggle with that sometimes, because I can't stand when somebody put out a false narrative or whatever. But sometimes, if we're gonna master our moves, let them say what they say. Let them say what they're gonna say and stay focused, because Nehemiah, he had no time to get involved with what Sanballat and Tobias was saying, as they were doing a good work, as they said, for the Lord. Okay, and when you set yourself to do a good work for the Lord, it changes the whole game. Yeah, it changes the whole game, man. If I was living life a certain kind of way, things would be so much different, But when you see that, the problem is, the Bible talks about kingdom shall rise against kingdom and nation against nation. And so we have the kingdom of light and the kingdom of darkness. I mean, it is what it is. And the question is, who are you serving? Yeah, who are you serving? And if we are I was going to say representing, but we got to do more than represent, because you can represent something and really not be in it. Okay, I'll keep it moving. And so whenever you are living for the Lord, your way to go is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit different. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivered them out of them all. And so I had to learn to sometimes just let it roll. Elder Dumpson, his brother, I know from back home. He was a preacher in the church I grew up in, and I would have quite a few conversations with him. He lived right next door to the church, and a lot of times, I would stop by there and see him or whatever, and we chit chat and stuff. And I never forget, we were sitting there talking one morning, and he was talking about, I don't know how we got there, but we were talking about folks lying on you, folks scandalizing your name, and this, that, and the other. And what he said was, in so many words, you can never outlie a liar. He went on to say that, if they lie on you, they're going to keep lying on you. And it was so much in that conversation. It was so profound. It was so deep, and it was so helpful. But sometimes the best thing you can do is just separate yourself from such people. And I guess the hard part is if they were once called a friend. David struggled with the way things was playing out with he and Saul. And the reason why David struggled was because the love and the respect that he had for Saul was through the roof. But Saul didn't see him the same way.
Remember me to tell you about bad mind friend. From you turn your back them on your life again. Cause them no like we. But anything me talk,
let me get out of y'all's way. But for a few folk, I'm gonna say this. You were always a better friend to them than they were to you. And that's not your fault. And in other words, we cannot render evil for evil. We cannot let experiencing bad friendships cause us to become bad friends. In other words, Lottie Dottie was a crummy friend to me. She hurt me. She used me. She deceived me. She did all that stuff, all that bad stuff, right? And so now, when Bobby comes along and he's showing himself to be friendly, I treat him like Lottie Dottie is working through him. And in other words, I rob him of a good friend experience because of Lottie Dottie. And it's not fair, not only to Bobby, but it's not fair to you. It's not. So just because they are bad friends doesn't mean we let that get in our spirit and we too become bad friends. Because a lot of people, they walk around here, they don't trust. Yeah, I don't trust nobody. And the reason why they talk like that is because they had a bad experience with somebody at some point. And they let that affect them negatively. They did not master their moves. They allowed every move thereafter to be manipulated because of a bad friend, because of a grimy person, because of a creep. Are you following me on tonight? And so if we're going to master our moves, we got to forgive. Yeah, we got to forgive. We got to let some stuff go. And every time you're reminded or every time you remember it, it hurts. I know it does for me. God, I'll be like, oh, and I got to just let it go. I got to just let it go. You got to let it go. We got to let it go. Because we got to master our moves. It was a teachable moment. God allowed you to learn something from it. Yes, it hurt. But stop looking at the fact that it hurt and see the lesson, see the wisdom that you were able to extract from such an experience. It's a beautiful thing when we can take bad situations and see the good that came as a result. The Bible says tribulation worketh patience, patience, experience, hope, and hope maketh not ashamed. What is God trying to make you into? Who is God trying to make you into? Maybe, perhaps, possibly, you've been someone who he never called you to be. That's why I tell folk all the time, you got to watch out with them nicknames you let people put on you. You better watch out for the organizations you join because they're cool and popular. You mess around and you'll be a whole different person. I've seen it. And it's one thing for you to be 15, 20, and 25, but when you 55, 60, and 65, and you just switching like that, I'm saying that's not a good look. That's not a good look. But anyway, we gotta forgive. We gotta forgive so that we can master our moves. The Bible says, if you think your brother has an ought with you, leave your gift at the altar and first go and be reconciled. God doesn't even want your gift. If you walking around with animosity, if you walking around talking about Shaquetta done me dirty, but I'ma pray on her. No, you ain't. Them prayers ain't going no further than the ceiling. Yeah. You, I, we, they, everybody gotta forgive. Let it go. It's like drinking poison and waiting for them to die. No. Let it go. And I know they did wrong. I know they did you wrong. And I know me. I'll be like, Lord, I want to. No, it ain't for me to see when God handles them. What's for me to see is when I let it go and let God be God. That's, brothers and sisters, how and when we master our moves. We ain't even gonna talk about y'all who talk about you mastering your moves, but you allowing people to manipulate the way you think about others and the way you handle others and the way you walk away from others, all because of what this one said. But yet still your experience it did not solidify such treatment. We'll leave that for another show. We'll leave that for another show. Because trust me, if you in your teens, then you supposed to be far beyond the phase where your friends are based on what other friends say. I'm just saying. Mastering your moves and changing the game, man. You gotta change the game. You can never change the game playing the game. I'll say that one more time. You can never change the game playing the game. And some of y'all too old. Y'all think y'all running game on folk, but ain't nobody stupid. Was born at night, but not last night. Stop trying to run game. Stop trying to run game. Stop trying to run game. You can't change the game playing the game. Okay. In my experience, as I reflect on my childhood coming up, and I can literally visualize some of the OGs who made major impacts in the community, and even the way things ran and the way things, a lot of these guys had reached a place and they had reached a status, and they were now not necessarily the gatekeepers, but they were the game changers. They could say things, they could do things that could change the whole neighborhood. But they had gotten to a place where they were no longer entangled in the things that everybody else was in, but yet still they still had the ability, the power, the wherewithal to change the game. Let me see. There was one brother. I don't want to start naming names, but there was one brother in particular who God used to change my life. Okay. He was no longer in the game, but he was able to change the game. At least for me, he did, and what he did was powerful. I never forget it. One of the first things he did, well, it wasn't one of the first. It was probably one of the second or third. I can see it like it was yesterday. We were sitting there and we were having a conversation. He was introduced to me by someone else who saw me, and saw more for me than I was able to see for myself. Some of y'all running around here talking about y'all OGs. Y'all OGs are right old and goofy. Can't see nothing to save your life. If it's you, just say ouch and nobody will know otherwise. But nevertheless, there was another brother who introduced me to him. And we engaged in a conversation, a very intellectual conversation, a very meaningful conversation. And this conversation allowed me to realize Number one, this brother knew what he was talking about. Number two, he had something to offer. Number three, he had been through some things. And so then I want to say our next encounter, he placed a book in my hand. I don't know how old I was. I probably was about maybe 15 years old. Probably about 15 years old, 15, 16, maybe somewhere around there. And the book that he gave me, ladies and gentlemen, was by a gentleman by the name of Nathan McCall. The name of the book was Makes Me Wanna Holler. Yeah, powerful. That book was an eye-opener for me on many regards, man. But this brother was no longer in the game, but he was still changing the game. Yeah, he was changing the game. He see, you can't always tell folk what to do. Sometimes you got to show them how it's done. And this is what this brother did. He represented another way. He showed me a better way. He didn't condemn me for the things that I was engaging in. He didn't tell me, oh, you're going to mess around and you're going to end up in such and such. And, you know, because that's what a lot of y'all do. Y'all always want to point out the negative, but you can never show anyone anything more positive. You know, and this brother, he didn't do that. Number one, because he had been there. He already knew what it was. But he was still close enough. He was still able to. He changed the game for me, man. Changed the game for me, you know. And I never forget reading that book, man. It just opened me up to a lot of things. I was so much more in tune with who I was after reading that book, because at that age I had so much anger and rage and even a level of confusion and so much stuff, and I didn't even know how to properly process all of those emotions that was going through a 16-year-old's mind at the time. You know, I'm extremely successful in some regards, but yet still I'm missing something. You know, it was this guy. He was a game changer for me, man. And what that did was it opened me up to now be able to receive more. Now, when we forgive, I know they did you wrong, but when you forgive, I didn't say you got to forget, but I did say forgive. And you're forgiving them, not for them, because to be honest, they don't deserve it, but you do. You don't deserve to be victimized twice by them. They already did what they did to hurt you or whatever, and now you ain't getting no peace because you're harboring feelings for, so they don't deserve that much power. So forgive them and take the power back. That's how you master your moves. Now, when God speaks, you're not hearing the voice of rage, the voice of resentment, the voice of anger and all that stuff. No, now you can hear his voice a little more clear. So as this brother changed the game for me, he also opened me up to receive more game to change my game, if that makes sense. My life has never been the same since. Yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, we got to master our moves. Now, for some who might watch this, you ain't got many moves left, self included. Oh, when I was a younger man, look at here, man. I'd jump out and I'd start a business. Come on now. I had no fear. You know, I felt like I was invincible at one point. I was just, but as we get older, we realize that we ain't got as much time. We ain't got as many moves. Come on now. We're approaching the midlife section, and we know what's after that. And so we've got to live our life and govern ourselves accordingly. We need to be more worried about our legacy than we are our reputation. We need to be more worried about what we're going to leave behind than what we're going to take with us. Because naked came ye into this world, and naked ye shall return out of this world. I'm just saying. And so mastering our moves. I did not say master the game. See, the game is undefeated. Yeah, I know you go down into that little skill game, whatever, and you hit for $1,200, and you know, but how much you done lost the week before, so they don't open up for you to get rich. They open up to take all your money. Okay, so the game is undefeated. Yeah, you might have a few days where you feel like you on top. Yep. But the game is undefeated. Yeah. So you got to realize that. You got to stop playing the game. You're not going to master the game, but you can master your moves. I want every move I make to be effective. I want every move I make. In other words, when I make a move, I want stuff to move. Yeah, I can't just make moves to make moves. The Bible says he calls the young because they're strong and the old because they know the way. So I'm going to get out y'all's way. But I'm going to do everything within my power to master my moves. The Bible says it this way: lean not to thine own understanding, but in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he will direct thy path. Stop looking to your homie for direction. He need help his doggone self. Look to the Lord. David said, I think it was David said, I will look unto the hills from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord. Stop allowing this stuff that you're in and that you're connected to cloud your vision. Yeah, stop letting the things that you are acquiring weigh you down. You must acknowledge the Father. Yeah, acknowledge him. The Bible says in Psalms 34, oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man that trusteth in him. You trust in your CVO more than you trust in God. Yeah, if I can go knock out this style, wow, I'm gonna feel better. You better talk to the Lord. He might tell you to stop mid-route on the side of the road and just bawl. Just cry out unto him. I remember one time I was riding, and that's what he said. He said, stop. I pulled over, and instead of a thou wow, I had a powwow with God. Man, I know somebody on here know he'll do it. If you know he'll do it, somebody say, won't he do it? Yeah. But sometimes we are enamored with the crowd, and we are just so engulfed with what they say and sometimes God will break you, hurt your feelings and all that good stuff. Ask me how I know. Yeah, I'm told that a shepherd, he has that staff, and it's a multi-purpose instrument. Okay, I'm told, I don't know how true it is, but I'm told that there are occasions where the shepherd will take the staff and break the leg of the lamb, because that lamb keeps trying to go astray. And so it's better to be wounded and alive than not wounded and end up dead. Come on now, won't he do it? Yes, he will. And so what I'm saying is, I know your feelings are hurt, but could it perhaps be that God would rather wound you than to see the enemy consume you? Oh, come on, somebody. I'm preaching better than you praising right now. God will wound you to prevent the enemy from consuming you. Broke your little heart. But God. See, sometimes he's got to, what's going on, Solo? Sometimes he's got to break us down. But I can see clearly now that the rain is gone. I think that's what the song said. God has a way. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Come on, C1s. Don't worry about anything, but pray about everything. Stop telling God about your problems and tell your problems about your God, and watch things change. You know, I got to a place in life where, you know, I just accept it. I just accept it, and I trust God, you know, because sometimes it ain't the devil. Sometimes it's God. I know it hurts, and we didn't expect that because we was on cloud 9, just soaring, just you know. But sometimes while on cloud 9, we lose track of the real mission. We lose focus. Sometimes on cloud 9, we become lifted up in pride. And God says, oh no, son, that's not a good look. Paul went to Jesus 3 times because he had a thorn in his side. And Paul understood that it was a messenger from Satan to buffet him. And so what I'm saying is sometimes the enemy will try to get at you, but it's working for your good. See, God ain't gonna shut the mouth of every naysayer. No, because sometimes we need to be reminded that without God we're nothing. Sometimes we've got to be at a place. Let me tell you a story real quick, and I'm gonna get out of your way. First of all, let me finish the thought with Paul. God told him, no, I'm not gonna remove it. My grace is sufficient. You go through this, and I'm gonna let you see me be God while you go through it. Okay. And so the story goes, and I tell this quite a bit, but the story goes that a young boy is walking down a path and he sees an egg. Okay, so he picks up the egg, being inquisitive like he is, and he holds the egg in his hand, and he realizes that the egg begins to shake. Okay, and all of a sudden a crack goes down the egg, and then it branches off in another crack, and so the little boy begins to pick away the shell and reveals a little bitty bird. He gets all the shell off the bird, and he's holding the bird in the palm of his hand, and it became his pet. But as the bird grew, the little boy realized that it never took flight. The little bird sat there on the porch, and he watched all the other birds flying and soaring and everything. And he'd flap his little wings, but nothing. He couldn't fly. And so the little boy was just perplexed. And he's talking to his uncle one day, and his uncle begins to explain to him. He said, the reason why the bird can't fly is because when that bird was in the egg and the egg began to crack, it was part of the process. And as the bird forces its wings to break the shell and remove the shell, it develops muscles that are necessary for flight. But the little boy tried to help the bird, at least he thought. But what he really did was he robbed the bird of a process that was necessary for flight. And so some things God will not remove from our life. He will let us go through it because it is working for our good. Again, I just quoted a while ago, tribulation worketh patience, patience experience hope, and hope maketh not ashamed. Can you imagine a bird that can't fly? He'd be ashamed. He's got feathers, he's got a beak, he's got all the things, at least it appears, for flight, but he just can't fly because he was robbed of a process that was necessary for victory. Stop looking at what you're going through as though it's going to take you out. It came to make you better. It's your boy Retro, man. I've gone through a lot and I still got more to go through, but it's working for my good because I know whom I serve. Yeah, I know whom I serve. Okay. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is how we master our moves. It's not getting new fancy equipment and cool drops and everything, and we will get that stuff because we're gonna try to master our craft as well. We want to do as best we can, but see, it's not about that. What profit a man that gain the whole world and lose his soul? I could have the flyest podcast in the world with the greatest equipment, top notch, state of the art, but then not have my soul right with God. What good would that do me? Not very much. I might be cool and I might be, have all these likes and views. But it is appointed that the man wants to die, and after this, the judgment. Nobody's going to live forever. Not even Methuselah lived forever. 1,000 years still ain't forever. So my point is, we all going to leave here. Make sure you're ready. Yeah, make sure you're ready. Careful. Don't floss on nobody now. Because see, when you floss on somebody, you forget that you still got some stuff you got to take care of. Okay, we'll leave that alone. We'll leave that alone. It's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope, and I'm grateful to the Lord for all that He has done. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna get out y'all's way, man. You feel free to join us Monday through Friday. We try to get up here and do a little bit of morning inspiration. Unless I'm out on the bike or whatever, then we're not in the studio. We try to do a little something from the bike. But even with that said and done, I got all this stuff in the background. I'm sorry, guys. Even with that said and done, folks, God's flow is better than my schedule. Be careful that you are not trying to, I would like to have a deep word to use here, but it ain't that deep. Be very careful that you are not trying to reduce God to your schedule. Just let Him flow. Just let Him have His way. The altar workers will tell you, come on, baby, just let Him have His way. Come on now, just let Him let Him have His way, and that's what we got to do. I know your big brother did it this way. I know your homie did it that way. I know your mentor did it that way. But you ain't none of them. You're neither one of them. You're you. Uniquely made. Perfectly designed by God. Created in His image and in His likeness. Get to know Him and get to know who you really are. And I'm going to say this, and this is my final close. You are not what you do, but you do what you do because of who you are. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. A lot of us, we do a lot of things and we do it well. But just because we do it and we do it well, that's not necessarily who we are. And so when God calls me from earth to glory, I want Him to say, well done, thy good and faithful servant. And when He says, well done, thy good and faithful servant, it's not going to be based on only how we did what we did, but what we did. In other words, I can't be, okay, let's say I am a magnificent skier. I mean, can't nobody ski better than me. But that's not what I'm called to do. I know I got top scores and crazy awards, but I was out of alignment because that's not what I was called to do. And so if we're going to master our moves, we've got to seek Him. We got to acknowledge Him, and we got to trust Him. Ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, I'm going to get out y'all's way. Thank you for pressing play. We got a whole lot going on, man. I've been somewhat silent. Some of that is strategic. Some of it's intentional. And so stick with your boy, and we'll be sharing more stuff in the very near future. I want to call out the one and only.
Hey now, this is the Mileage Bully, the Moto Mob CEO.
I don't know if you're still watching, but I'm about to call you out.
Legends are made. You are now tuned in to the Retro Philosophy Show. Like, share, and subscribe. You know what to do. Press play.
Rumor has it that Shaquilla Bussey, 2024 Titan recipient, CEO of the Moto Mob, come on somebody, is going to take one of her training bikes and ride that thing cross country. K Solo, I see you on Riding with K Solo podcast. I want to see if we can, you know, I don't know, get you involved, and anybody else who's watching. I want to see how many gonna get on board, because I already said I'm getting ready to take my little KZ 400. We're gonna get her ready. We're gonna get her right, and we're going cross country on that thing. I think we might head up to Maryland, hit 80, and just ride it all the way. I think it's Interstate 80, and ride that thing all the way out west. And I want to know who else is willing to get on board. I'm just saying. Shakila said she gonna go cross country on one of her training bikes. Now, you know, it gotta be. It can't be. You saw that C1s. You saw that, right? So we just might as well make it official and see who else gonna get on board, because you know we get on these motorcycles with all the creature comforts and the tour packs and saddle bags and backrests and fluffy seats and, you know, lower fenders and, you know, heated seats and heated gloves and trust me, them things make it nice, you know, going across country and going wherever we go. But would we do what we do if we did not have those creature comforts? So I want to see who else is willing to follow suit. You know, Shakila said she was going. I guess now all we got to do is come up with a date. I'm gonna need a little bit of time because I haven't even given the bike a name yet. But everything I own has a name. I don't know. I'm just weird like that, I guess. But she got to be right, because I ain't trying to get out there and be broken down in every state. But hey, that may come along with it. So I will still travel with some tools. But anyway, who else is willing to get them an old bike? I'm not talking about something brand new. I'm not talking about something, you know, man, look at here. I'm thinking it got to be, mine's is a 75. So I say nothing newer than an 80, maybe an 85, depending. I don't know. But Shakila, if you're watching, what year is your training bike that you are going to take across country? Don't pull out one of them new ones now, girl. You got to pull out one of them old ones. It's going to be a retro rally, okay? A retro rally. It got to be a retro bike, okay? Got to be old school, classic, antique, you know, vintage. Yeah. And we're going to take them cross country, all right? So map or route will be forthcoming. I saw my man GQ. He picked up an old school chopper, I think it is. I don't know what year it is, and I don't know how soon he plans on getting his up and running. But we need to all tap in. If you got something that's old school, I need you to tap in. I need you to tap in. I don't know. Maybe we call it the retro rally. I don't know what we're gonna call it. That's irrelevant. That's neither here nor there. If you got an old school bike, then holler at your boy. Let me know what you're working with. And even if you said, man, look here, you can be crazy if you want to and go cross country, but I ain't. That's cool. Still holler at me. Let me know where you're at, and maybe you might be one of the stops along the way. So there's a couple ways I'm playing this thing out in my head. And so again, I want you guys to help me by sharing this video with someone that you know that has an old school motorcycle, old school trike, whatever it might be. I saw one of those old police bikes, 3-wheelers. I was tempted, man. I couldn't get my nickels right for it though, but it was a piece. It was nice. But anyway, we'll be talking a whole lot more about that in the days and weeks and months to come, because at the top of my head, I'm figuring it's gonna be sometime next summer or next fall that I'll be ready to make this ride on this old school. Okay, so we got to get it running and all that good stuff, and then we're gonna make it do what it do. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie. As a matter of fact, Shakila, we're gonna get you on the show. We're gonna talk about it, and anybody else who wants to come on, we'll talk about it, and because we're gonna make it happen. All right. So how we gonna leave y'all tonight? Bada boom, bada. Hey, remember, you gotta master your moves, guys. Okay. All right, we'll talk to y'all soon. Shout out to all the Four Corners family, all of you guys that's getting out there and knocking out the four corners of your state and other states. Kodak he just done got happy, and he's just knocking out states. Him and Coco, they out there, ground pounding that thing and making it do what it do, man. And so shout out to all of you guys, man. We appreciate you. I saw Ray Charles and his lovely wife. They jumped out this morning, I believe it was, going to do the I-10 to the end. They had done the Four Corners a few months ago. Shout out to them. So we're gonna leave you like this, guys. Bada boom, bada bang. Make sure you guys subscribe. If you haven't done that already, please do so. It's your boy Retro, man. We out of here.
Yo, what's up, everybody, including Lottie Dottie? It's your boy Retro with you on today. And I've got a public service announcement for you. Just because you do something that you see an OG do doesn't make you an OG. And just because you get on your motorcycle and you pound from here to there doesn't make you a ground pounder either. You'll never be what you ain't. But hey, like they say in the Army, be all you can be.
What's up, man? It's Kiki G, CEO, founder of Roscoe Apparels. We were Retro Philosophy. Make sure y'all go follow, like, share, subscribe to my brother, man. We all black-owned businesses. You know how we coming. Support.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Retro, man. I'm standing in front of Big Swin's V-Twins with the owner, Mr. Swin himself. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about your shop real quick.
Well, like I said, this is kind of been like a dream of mine to have my shop. I've been riding bikes my whole life from childhood. And, kind of military. I decided to make a hobby into a business. So it's been a lot of fun. I kind of do a lot of stuff here. Custom work, audio, engine work. Yeah. So pretty much everything. I'm not really big into the show bike deal. Okay. I'm a rider. Because you're a rider. I'm a rider. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But I just kind of keep them, try to keep them looking nice. And that's you're doing, man. And speaking of rider, that's why we're here, guys. Mr. Swin has completed the NC Four Corners. So, Big Swin, it is a privilege and an honor to present you with such a patch, the NC Four Corners ride. Oh, yeah. We're proud of it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was a great trip. So, I hear you're going to display your certificate of completion here in the shop. Of course, So, if you guys want to see it in living color, come check out my man, Big Swin. It's your boy Retro. I'm actually privileged to be down here at Rare Breed Clubhouse in Fayetteville with my man Big Frizz and his beautiful wife. And so on behalf of Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry, we wanted to present both of them with their pad for the NC Four Corners ride. They knocked that joint out officially. And so we appreciate y'all, ma'am. Appreciate you, okay? The backseat miles matter. They matter. So you want to hit up the Four Corners of North Carolina or whatever state it is, make sure you get at your boy Retro. We'll get you in touch with the right registration for the state that you want to do. And the rest will be history, man. So Big Frizz, man, appreciate you, boss. I appreciate you. Sure. Another one next week. That's what's up. That's what's up. All right. Trying to get them all. All of them. All of them. Mission 448. All right. Let me see that. Let me see that pass. You see it? Boom.
What's going on over here? Talk to me. What we got going on?
We got the Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry Four Corners runs. Andre, Highway Dre, has completed not only North Carolina, yes, sir, but he went on and did South Carolina. Just because he was in the vicinity. Right. It got so nice to him, he wanted to get where it was a little bit warmer, so he went on down to get him a few oranges. And a slice of key lime pie down in Florida. I did. But he also stopped by to get some peach cobbler while he was in the area. So he went to Georgia and did the Four Corners there as well.
Oh, my word.
So, Highway Dre, we love you, bro. Appreciate you.
Hey, look. Let me tell you why I do this.
Okay.
Why do you? Wait. I got a question. Why do you do this?
Why do you tell them why you do it?
Because I can.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have here with us the Studs and Stilettos. Not Studs and Stilettos, but Studs and Stilettos.
That's a different show.
That's a different show.
That could be wild.
That could be wild, But they came all the way down from Tennessee and to do the NC Four Corners. It's been a pleasure even preparing for the ride, talking with them, and an even greater pleasure to have the privilege to ride with them for this portion of the trip. We caught them in Statesville and rode them up to the last corner, which is here in Sparta, as you can see in the background. Sparta Town Hall. Yes, indeed. We made it. We made it. So, any highlights? Anything that anybody wanted to talk about as far as the highlight for the trip for everybody, maybe?
The beach.
The lunch at Oceanic.
Oh,
and
yeah, that was
the south side of
that was nice.
Beautiful weather.
Beautiful weather.
Yeah.
When you guys said you were,
out.
when you guys said you was launching, I looked at the weather. I said, man, you guys couldn't have picked a better day.
Right?
Yeah,
It turned
yeah,
out perfect.
yeah, perfect.
Today's the best day.
Yeah.
Today's the best day.
And so from here, will you guys hang on a little bit, or you headed straight back to Tennessee?
Back to Tennessee.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Back to Knoxville.
Yep.
So we have the patches here. You guys can come get yours. Who's next? Let's know in the comment section. But there you are, sir. Kill Bill.
Thank you.
Young lady.
Thanks, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Sparkle.
Yo, I tried to go live, but we can't get no signal where we're at, man. But we had to pull over. Had to pull over, man, because it was literally just that nice. There was another spot further up. And by the time I thought about stopping, it was too late, man. But just absolutely beautiful, man. Beautiful day. It finally started to warm up. And so we're just literally here on the side of the road. A lot of curves coming through here. So for those of you guys who are planning on doing the Georgia 4, you know, be prepared for some curves, because there's a lot of them, but it is just absolutely beautiful. The traffic is, you know, it's not bad. It's a good ride. It's a good ride.
Retro, what's up, man? This your guy Lavish coming in from the Motor City, Detroit, man. Keep doing your thing, man. Keep up the good work. I'm watching the channel. I'm watching it grow. Everybody out there, man, if you listening, man, show this brother some love. Go ahead and share this video. Go ahead and like, follow, and subscribe to his channel.
Yo, what up? This is Marvin Gibson, aka Big Gift, and you are now tuned in to the Retro Philosophy Show.
I done said all I got to say.
No, I know.
A lot of people like to hold back, but I don't hold back nothing. I tell you just like it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's your man Kodak, the most hated, coming to you live from the Retro Philosophy Show, where I always listen to my man, 50 Grand, Pastor Retro. You know what it is.